So I just wanted to start out with some recent news. The news out of Pakistan that the intelligence services there had asked the United States to stop drone strikes and reduce the CIA presence there. First of all, I wanted to get your reaction to that, if you agree with that, and if that is indeed the case, if this happens, what you think that means for Afghanistan.
If the United States agree,
stops drone
strikes. We are looking at it from outside, yes, from Afghanistan, and also from Afghanistan's point of view, but also to give it a touch from Pakistan's point of view. The drone strikes, the fallout, the negative side has been the collateral damages, which is, of course, a concern everywhere. But at the same time, nevertheless, some of the most effective Taliban commanders, Pakistani Taliban commanders, Al-Qaeda related leaders, have been hit by these strikes, which would have taken, in conventional warfare, thousands of soldiers' involvement in the battlefield in order to achieve something as such. So they might have their own political constraints about it, domestic one, but at the same time I have no doubt about the effectiveness of the drone strikes. About the number of CIA agents there and what's the number, then I think things starts that perhaps Pakistan believes that there are exaggerate numbers of agents up there, and in that case, of course, they think that they have the right to know about it and also to have a little bit of some sort of.
So you don't necessarily agree with the Pakistan intelligence service that the U.S. should stop the drone strikes? Is what you're saying?
I don't, because that's these are the people which are hurting Pakistan to begin with, and also these are part of those groups which are hurting our own region, so part of the terrorist networks. So I would say that this has been effective. The issue of collateral damage should be taken care of course, which is unacceptable for any country, any nation. But at the same time, I have no doubt about it.
So that's kind of where you differentiate yourself from President Karzai, because he's been very critical of the drone strikes.
In one area, I have no less sentiments and emotions when it comes to the civilian casualties or any Afghan. Yes, anyone, or the ones which are in charge of those operations. This will be the worst news for them when they see. But at the same time, when we are dealing with an enemy which goes beyond any boundary, if you are fighting against them, yes, to hit them by any means, because it's we have a saying in Farsi that in the warfare you don't distribute sweets. It's warfare. Unfortunately, we have to fight. When we have to fight, all capabilities need to be used.
So given
and also about the special operations.
Right.
About the special operations, it has been very effective. The special operations by NATO, more effective than the large-scale operations after months and months of preparations and so on and so forth. Hi, good morning.
So pivoting off that point, the United States and NATO have been in Afghanistan for around 10 years now.
Yeah.
A couple of recent polls here in the United States show that a majority of Americans think the United States should leave as soon as possible, and another larger majority say that the U.S. should not be involved in Afghanistan. And I'm wondering, why should the U.S. stay any longer in Afghanistan?
First of all, at a time that there are these polls, there are these opinions, growing opinions in the United States, and also the administration has to make a decision about the drawdown, about the transition. At this stage, we needed to have best level of coordination between Afghanistan and the international community in the United States. If I may look into what is going on in real term, that's the least level of understanding. And part of it, not all of it, but main part of it, is because of the fact that President Karzai believes that by promoting anti-foreigner, anti-American feelings, he might find some constituency in some parts of the country, which the calculation is wrong. In between, and this started with one-off events and then became a trend, and now it has become a policy. In between, who misses the opportunity? It's the people of Afghanistan. In the stabilization of Afghanistan, there is a common interest. And the American presence and the American support for Afghanistan, of course, it was based on the threat emanating from that part of the world and your enemies, which had found a place in Afghanistan and in that region. And then they did terrible things here. They have done much more terrible things to the Afghans. But then the United States, the international community, had to react. In theory, that's in theory. I would have preferred, after 10 years of American engagement, to come out and say, oh, thank you. You did a lot. Of course, it has been sacrifices, contributions. But there was an aim to be achieved as a result of all these sacrifices. I don't think that goal is being achieved. There has been a lot of progress, but at the same time, a lot has happened. At the same time, we are not there.
How long do you think?
It will depend on quite a few factors. How long? The Afghans are also not less desirous to see their affairs of their country run by their own people, their institutions taking responsibility. That's obvious. And for the first time, the people of Afghanistan welcomed foreign troops in their soil. This is for the first time that this has happened. And nobody would have believed it had it been. And for 10 years, a lot has happened and lives have changed for the people of Afghanistan. But at the same time, a sort of premature withdrawal would mean that the same enemies can take root. Yes, that's an obvious fact. And one can shorten this period of time that your presence will be needed there are two factors mainly. In Afghanistan, the presence of effective government which can deliver to its own people and will isolate the enemies which will be fighting forever. Yes, from the people, winning the people. Winning the people is not just for the international forces, hearts and minds. It's for the government of Afghanistan. There we have a shortcoming, a big deficit, and that has prolonged that. So we have not been able to utilize the opportunity which is there. Next to that is the cooperation from Pakistan in sanctuaries, which are there and very much alive, very much lively and active. So these two factors, without addressing these two factors, it's difficult to set a time frame.
So the